Hello everybody and welcome to a tier list where we're going to be doing some rogue events today. I should go up to the top. Look at that, see? Rogue events tier list maker. Good job. I don't know why that's there, but it's here. I'm happy it is. We're going to be ranking all the rogue events, including the Innsmouth conspiracy cycle, because we've been talking about them a bunch on the channel. We'll include them in this one, and then eventually down the road, like, I don't know, we'll eventually make it up on the other ones. But right now, we're just moving forward because why the heck not? Bryn, as our resident rogue expert, we're doing this without the taboo list. What are our some notable S tier events for rogues?
All right. Well, I think we should start with elusive.
Mm-hmm.
That card is absolutely bonkers at level 0.
Yep.
It's still good at level 2. But at level 0, this card is insane.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of just get to ignore what the game's doing, and instead of taking several turns to figure out where you need to be and what you're trying to do, you're just there. It's just good.
Yeah. So we also kind of, for people who are wondering too, for our tier list, we generally have pretty straightforward S, A+, and A are just good cards. Like the S tier, this is if you get so much power out of the card. Once you get into B, B is this card's good. C is usually the ones we reserve for this card requires work to get good. And then B also kind of fits in that area where this card's part of an archetype, and it's great in that archetype, but not fantastic outside of it. And then D is it's for the doo-doo.
Yeah. D is for don't play this card.
Yeah.
C is can't do anything on its own.
Yeah.
B is build around.
Whoa, A is awesome.
The A is awesome, and then A+ is awesome but better.
Yeah.
And I don't actually have anything for S, but
yeah, it's just S tier. Another one, I think you handle this one, is also S tier for rogues. Yeah.
A big part of what makes this card good. I could see this card being A+, because if I'm an off-color rogue, I don't really care about this card so much.
Honestly, I think that's fair enough to put it to A+. Yeah, I think that is fair enough.
A big part of what makes this card so good is that there is one rogue in the game who has more than 2 brain.
Yeah.
And
she's purple, so
yeah, she's also purple.
Yeah. I think it sits better at A+ for that exact reason. You'll see an off green will play elusive.
Yeah, if I can play green cards, I'm probably thinking about playing elusive in my deck.
Yeah.
Assuming it doesn't cost me XP. If it costs me XP, it's a little worse. But
yeah. Let's also grab Faustian Bargain while we're here.
Yeah.
This card is bonkers, and it's just so good. It's so good. And that's not what S stands for, but that's what this one is.
But it could be.
Yeah.
S could be so strong.
Yeah, so strong. Yeah. All right. Any other noticeable S tiers that we can think of? I can't right now. So I think that's a good time to ask the next question. Any D tiers that you can think of off the top of your head?
Yeah, God sort them out.
That's the pile, right?
Yep.
So what does it even do? Play only during your turn. Oh yeah, when you have to defeat 6 or more total enemy health, you get to add it to the victory display, and then you earn 1 additional experience.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Mm-hmm. No, doesn't seem great.
No, so there's somebody when this card was released, somebody put together a list of scenarios that have a 6 health enemy in them.
Okay.
And it's not even half of them. It's less than that.
Dang.
So for the rest of them, you kind of gotta be stacking stuff up and trying to make this happen.
And it even takes an action too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
There's a lot of things to not like about this card.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's start going. The other one I actually saw it over here. I think Easy Mark we have to put in the discussion. I think it's also up here. I'm just trying to think. You guys have I've played Easy Mark, but you guys have played a lot of Easy Mark. Do you think it's good enough to be S tier? Do you think it's that good of a card?
Unlike to me, unlike Faustian Bargain, I wouldn't auto include this card in non-green decks.
Okay.
I don't know, Travis. What do you think?
I think I would put this card at the bottom end of S.
That's fair. It is very strong.
Yeah, like it's one experience for all 3 copies,
Mm-hmm.
and it is one of the most like sort of efficient economy cards in the game, assuming you have more than 1 copy, of course, which isn't hard to do. Like playing 2 of these off 1 action is like nice.
Yeah, and even you said
Playing
like
1 is like fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's still fine worst case scenario, and fine worst case scenario is still like, as that's your worst case scenario, that's really good.
There's a fair number of off-green investigators that I would look at playing this in.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really good. Like Leo loves it. He needs that money.
He does need that money.
Like Safina is technically a green investigator, but she's not like a traditional green investigator, and she also loves it. I think that Dexter really likes this because it refills his hand, it gives him money to play his stuff. I don't think there's many characters like Wendy. Similarly, enjoy. I don't think there's like I think this is like a Pathfire situation where it's obviously like incredibly good, and pretty much every investor who can play it. It's just kind of boring, so we don't always do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think bottom of S seems good. Like, I knew it was going to end up over here, so I think I'm for it. I'm for it.
Card is good.
All right, now let's go
I think the hardest thing for it is justifying the 3 card slots, actually.
Yeah. Well, that's the secret. You just put in 3 shitty cards, and you're like, oh, thank God, I have Easy Mark to save the day. Backstab.
Yeah. I'd put Backstab, like bottom of B, top of C.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like three money for a fight action is a big ask, but also the fight does +2 damage, which is like kind of a big thing too.
Sneak attack.
I put level 0 sneak attack. Yeah, probably like top of C tier.
Top of C tier.
There's to be in B tier. It's not hard to evade things as a.
All right.
Do we think it's better or worse than Backstab level 0?
It's 2 Tesla's damage.
Yeah, which is I love me my Tesla's damage.
I think it's slightly better than Backstab personally.
I also like it slightly more as well.
Like so, it's worse than Backstab in that like you still have to probably pass the foot test.
Mm-hmm.
But it is better. It also deals 1 less damage, but it's better in that it costs 1 less, and you don't have to be the person evading it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be your foot test. That's fair.
Yeah.
Do we like sneak attack level 2 up here?
It's so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like a low A+ card, I think.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, no, it is.
The guys have to be exhausted. You just one of you guys drew an enemy step.
Just kill it. Yeah. See you later. All right, Sure Gamble changes a negative into a positive. I remember back in the day,
like
Bryn played the hell out of this card.
Yeah, they're all.
Well, yeah, it was like one of the 3 good cards you could play.
It was one of the 3 good green cards you could play, and also there were only like 8 different cards that were green that you could spend experience on.
Yeah.
That being said, Sure Gamble, it's like Lucky, but it works on almost everything.
Yep.
Like it doesn't. It half the time it doesn't even matter how low you were on the test.
Yeah. Unlike Lucky.
You just win.
Where did you want to put it, Bryn? Where do you think?
I think like top of A is pretty fair. Like cool. 3 XP is a pretty hefty price to pay for a one-shot effect.
Mm-hmm.
However, that one-shot effect is like
very strong.
Good.
Yeah.
You can
it's like you automatically succeed a test, but you don't have to choose what test you're using it on.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you can just run the test, and you're like, if I pass, then like sweet. But
actually,
it's here if I don't.
Yeah, maybe this one should be up near you. Handle this one. Like the downside is that it costs XP, and it costs 2 to play. But you can also, like, you can use it. It's like you handle this one that you can use offensively as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like the game says, make a brain test. You're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
Give me a -2 or worse, please.
And I mean, like, it's such a great insurance, like, for a big hit against a final boss. You're just like, nah, no matter what, this is happening.
I used to play this card with double or nothing all the time.
Yeah.
Just sit there and be like, as long as the numbers are even, we're passing the test.
All right. Hot Streak. This is the one that gets you 10 and costs 5.
This is the 3 costed one because it's level 4.
Oh, okay, 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just see the little crook here.
I mean, like, if you're playing the deck that wants this, it is very strong.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not, it is very bad because it costs you 4 XP and you don't need 10 money.
Are we in build around mode then?
Yeah, like I think this card really excels in either one of the two large money archetypes.
Yep.
But everywhere else it's like a little costly for what it does.
I find it's like even a little costly for those archetypes, but
Yeah, that's fair.
What about in comparison to the level 2 one?
The upgraded one, I think, is actually better.
that belongs in A+ because it's like Faustian Bargain. But it's worse because it costs you experience.
And you need 5 money to start with.
Yeah, no, I'm not serious. This is much worse than Faustian Bargain.
It is
like much worse.
But it is better than the level 4 one, I think, most of the time. For a couple of reasons. Firstly, for that same 4 XP, you get both copies, which increases your odds of seeing one early where they're best.
Mm-hmm.
And then also we've got they're level 2, which means that off-class green investigators can play them too.
Mm-hmm. Do we kind of like want to put this in like B tier and then like this guy top of B or like low A? What do you think, Bryn?
I think like low A or the top of B is like where it wants to be. Maybe the top of B.
Okay. Sick. All right, we got Think on Your Feet. So this is played when an enemy spawn on your location. Move. So, I've put this card in a lot of my decks, and like, every time I've drawn an enemy, I'm like, oh, I'll just evade it. Like, this is not too bad. I like, this card is like a thorn in my side for like the too good to use syndrome. So if it's like, for me, I'm like, this card does nothing. But for rational gamers, what is this? How good is this card?
I don't know that we have any rational gamers here.
I think that this card is like, yeah, it's like a card I look at, not like I want to play it, but like, so the enemy's still ready. If it's a hunter, you still need to get away from it. And like, as a general rule, like, so the movement's like both good and bad. Mm-hmm. It's good because sometimes it saves you an action, but it's bad because sometimes you know, like, not even sometimes, but fairly often when you're at a location, you have a reason to be at that location.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
To me, it's my first C tier. I don't think it's D tier.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna end up like bottom C.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it does have possible applications.
Yeah, I did a playtest of it in a Gloria deck where it was like a water protection of sorts when I saw an enemy that I could just walk away from. But that's like a very niche case, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we're all here. Contraband.
Level 0 Contraband. I'm quite willing to put this one at the top of the D tier.
All right. I've never played it, so Bryn, you're the expert.
Yeah, so this one is like 4 cost, and then you get to double the number of like ammo or supplies on an asset controlled by an investigator at your location, which seems neat, except that in order to get 4 money's worth out of this, you have to have it right when they play it.
Yeah.
And that's just a little too narrow, I think.
What about the upgraded one?
The upgraded
it also depends
one,
a lot on what you're paying. Like,
yeah, it
what
does.
you're playing it on.
It does matter.
Like, I think it's. I think that the level 0 one still belongs in D tier, but like there's something to be said for like you can play it in the off-green investigators, you can play it like sort of supporty decks, and you can use it as a way like you don't have to play it when you draw. You can just hold on to it till they play their thing or whatever. And when your guardian plays their flamethrower, now they have 2 flamethrowers. You just buy them 4 extra shots of flamethrower ammo. You bought them like a card and 4 resources and having to draw their other flamethrower.
Yeah, but the upgraded one is notably better because you have the choice to either double or add 2.
Yeah, and then also draw
it
a
does
card.
do something.
Yeah. Where do we like the upgraded one?
I think it deserves to be like somewhere in the B tier, maybe at the top of C tier.
Yeah, I could see either one of those things.
Sure.
It suffers from the so for most things, if you're playing the Contraband for your own deck, if you're playing it on a gun, you'd rather just have Swift Reload.
Yes. Yeah, here, while we're here, let's grab Swift Reload, because that one's also, that one's good.
Yeah.
And so, it's only really better if you're playing it for other people, or on something, almost exactly like Tennessee Sour Mash. You can put on, Liquid Courage, but, why do you need 8 Liquid Courages? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you spending 8 actions on Liquid Courage?
It's also got the, it gets better if you're playing with people who are playing things like extra ammo or Venturer or even the upgraded emergency cache that allows you to add additional supplies to a thing. But that's a lot of work to make the card better. How many uses of a thing do you really need? Tennessee Sour Mash? Okay, sure, I could see probably needing 5 or 6 of those throughout the course of the game. But I don't think this is the way I would pick to try to do that.
So, I put Swift Reload in A because that's where we put extra ammunition. And
it is both better and worse.
Yeah. I think that's just where it should be.
Yeah.
All right, Bryn, you and I, we love this card. I'm out of here. This is the one that lets you just resign. Now, this one requires a lot of scenario knowledge. I'm curious to see where we'd all put this one. Bryn, where would you put this one?
All right, so I'm out of here. I'd probably put bottom of A+, I think. It trivializes some scenarios, but in other scenarios, it's bad manual decks.
Travis, what about you? Where would you put I'm out of here?
I put it at the top of B.
B? My feeling...
just let you just quit scenarios and has applications there. Having 2 foot simples does a lot for it. But also green is probably the best color at just getting out.
So. I don't know if Bryn's track record shows that. He's been locked in that asylum.
Also, if this is if we're evaluating these without taboo list, this card is so much worse than elusive.
That's true. That is very true. But we're not going. I think for me, I wanted to put it in A, so I feel like Bryn wanted A+, Travis wanted high B. I'll just leave it at bottom of A. I think just to balance all of that.
Right.
But yeah, with elusive, this card's not nearly as good as elusive. But this card was
it does cost 0 instead of 2.
Yeah. That is true, but...
It only does one thing instead of elusive, which does a million things.
All right. Ace in the hole. You may take 3 actions this turn. Exceptional. It costs 6.
How much are you willing to pay for an extra turn?
Yeah.
Not 6 experience.
Yeah.
Fair.
I think even draw.
I think a big thing is there's just better options now. I think back in the day, this card was much higher. But I think now it's kind of hovering in
instead of having an extra turn, you'd rather just do the rest of put that experience into upgrading your guns or your lockpicks and just do your turns better.
Yeah, that's fair.
I still think it's just. I don't think it's C tier. I think it's like B tier.
I would put Bomb of A, to be honest.
Sure.
Yeah, like it is very powerful, and I used to play it a lot, but I also haven't played it in the past 3 years. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if you just happen to, if you're content with how your deck is, it's pretty easy to just like dump one card in the final scenario and spend 6 experience on this and like have a big turn. But
yeah.
Sleight of Hand. This is the untabooed version.
Right up at the tippy top, boys.
You think the original one was S tier, Bryn? That's probably.
I think I'm incredibly biased.
I mean, I think it's still like a good effect. Like I think it's still like
when-
probably
I think
it
somewhere
was
up in
like
here.
A+ before it got tabooed. Like
Yeah.
you could just put whatever you wanted to play.
Yeah, no.
It's like actually trash for green investigators, but for like other people who can just play it,
Yeah. It
like
is.
there
It
aren't
is
a ton
better.
of actual green assets that you want to put it in play in, but like playing it in Leo or something like that, dumping your lightning gun to play, unloading it to the boss, and picking your lightning gun up is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It used to be a lot better in non-green. These days, it's also like pretty okay in green. There's a
Oh yeah,
lot
they've
more
definitely
things that
gotten
you can
like
cheat in.
better things.
Yeah.
But original version, Travis, you can use to cheat in the Necronomicon, the Olaf's Wormius one.
Yeah,
Or
so
the-
it's
the
just
Petrus-
it's better
Petrus
for
the Dacia.
characters
Petrus the Dacia.
who can.
And then you just get to do it twice.
Yeah. It's
it's
just
just better
further
for characters who
solidifying
don't
Travis's
have to
point
play
that
green.
yeah. Poor green.
Yeah. Yeah, early on it was pretty soft for just green cards. You kind of have to be cheating something from a different color.
Oh, these are easy B tiers. Daring maneuvers.
I actually think that like regular daring maneuver is a C tier card. I think that other daring maneuver is like high B, maybe low A, depending on how. Because like, so there's a lot of cards that care about how much you succeed by in green. And like a lot of them you play even if you're not really playing that archetype, and this one just like guarantees that you. So it guarantees that you do it, and also it replaces itself.
Yep. The upgrade one is much juicier. To me, I view it more as B tier because it's like you're right. Like they play other cards that care about it, but I think like unless you're going like big on it, it's like more of an archetype card.
We don't even have to be going big on it. There's a lot of cards, even in other colors, that care about that now. Like Deduction level 2 sees a lot of play. Brute Force, Expeditious Retreat.
Oh yeah.
Expeditious Retreat, whatever that one's called, and Sharp Vision.
Yeah.
Vicious Blow level 2.
No, I agree. More care about it, but I think none of them care about it enough to put it in for just those cards.
Yeah, that's fair. I usually play one of these as my 5th card if I'm playing Rex Murphy.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
because.
guarantees you a clue.
Yeah, right. Like zero discover a clue is like really strong.
Where do you feel they fit, Bryn?
No, I think like B-ish tier is about fair for them. If we want to put the daring maneuver, the level 0 at the top of C, I can live with that. They definitely fall into the category of cards that don't actually do anything on their own.
Yeah, they do. But I agree. I think as well with what Travis is saying, I do think Daring Maneuver 2 is just going to get better with age as well. Like, even better than it's already improving.
If you're fighting with a shotgun, it's 0, deal 3 extra damage.
Yeah.
Which is pretty neat.
Cheap Shot. Fight, add your foot. If you succeed by 2 or more, automatically evade the enemy.
You know? This is like normally evading with extra steps.
Yeah.
Which to me means pretty bad. Like, it's an evade test, but I also have to pay 2 money to do it. Sure, I get to test it like a big number,
Yeah.
but
I think it's just hanging
It would
down in the
be-
C tier.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Like it is a little bit better than the stuff we've got in the D tier right now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
A big part of the problem with this card to me is that the main blue I guess you can play it in Zoe as well, but the blue guy who gets to play green cards has 1 foot.
Yeah.
So this is actually just to evade with your punch instead.
Yeah.
But you have to succeed by 2, so the difficulty is increased by 1. Like,
Narrow escape. So this is the one where you get to, when an enemy attacks, you cancel the attack, you get +2 skill values for the next skill test you perform this turn. Otherwise known as take an attack of opportunity, baby.
you know, I think this card has a lot of more applications than we give it credit for.
Yeah.
If you are off-class green and you need to, or actually anyone, and you need to play a weapon but you're engaged with an enemy right now, just do it. And shoot him better.
I mean, also, like, if you have, like, a limited Trish collection, this is another thing that you could, like, use to evade an enemy or get an extra clue. Like, especially against her weaknesses, the shadow agents. Just be like, you're not here, right? That seems kind of like, I mean, is that worth it enough for this card to be considered good, is the question.
I think this one is very heavily, like, kind of, you need to be a little built around it. It's really good with the ornate bow.
Yeah, yeah.
But really good with the ornate bow does not necessarily mean that the card is good. I think it does have like a lot of potential applications, but
I'm cool to just drop this guy in the B tier.
Yeah, I don't want it every time, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Cheat death.
You know, I'm not saying that I have paid 5 to put this in my deck and then failed to play it throughout the rest of the campaign.
But you're also not saying that?
Yeah, but I'm not going to argue that point either.
I think this card's like kind of garbage, to be honest.
I mean, I'm there too.
Yeah, like I want to like this card and I want it to be good. I think that to me the worst part about it is that if your investigator is just straight up killed, you can't play this to stop that.
Yeah.
And that is just a massive flavor fail. You're not cheating death.
Yeah, let's put it at the top of D. We'll give it a bit more credit. We'll put it at the top of D so it can, like, feel like a big boy.
Yeah, like 5 XP is a big ask.
Yeah. Especially like when Rogue really lives in its experienced cards, right?
Yeah, Rogue's 3 to 5 cards are really good.
Yeah. All right, Eavesdrop. This is the one. What does it even do? You test book X, where X is the evade value. If you succeed, discover 2 clues, and it costs 1. I don't think I've seen any of us play this card.
Card's pretty garbage, to be honest.
Yeah. The issue with this card is that it asks you to make a book test, and you are playing a green character, which means you do not have more than 3. It is.
And it's an unengaged enemy
like that,
too.
Except for Trish. I guess Trish is new.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just going to put it there. I think this card's not great.
Yeah, it's not. It is not incredible.
Yeah. I think that's grandma in the art, though, so that's nice. Okay, Slip Away, the level 0 and the level 2. Let's do them both at the same time. We like Slip Away.
Yeah. No, this is
it's-
much better than the other one.
Rank level 0 Slipaway is like an A+ card.
Okay.
I think the other one is like an A card.
Yeah, I don't think that's unfair. I would put it at the bottom of A though, because I think the upgraded versions, they don't all exist for these cards yet, but they probably will, because that's easy design space. They're mostly like they're the first card, but you gotta work around them a little bit more, because you want to be succeeding by enough to get them back every turn.
Yeah.
But also you need to have the money to play them every turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also it's like how many times do you really need to place the boy in a game?
Yeah, that's true.
This
as well.
is true. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, the fact that this one is an evade does limit its utility a little bit.
It's like 2 experience, right?
Yeah, it's 2
yeah,
experience.
It's 2 XP.
Like, so with your 2 experience, you could be just like, instead of upgrading both of these, you could be like purchasing like a skeleton key or like, I don't know what rogue cards cost 2 experience that are better than this. I'm sure there's lots of them. This would be a lot easier if it was we were talking about literally any other color.
Yeah. Well, we got sneak attack. I'm looking at this. We got swift reload, which are all higher up right now, and I say those cards would be better.
Yeah, you could upgrade your 25 on max and just kill him.
Yeah, exactly. And then also like, yeah, I'm for it. I dig that. Payday. So this is game 1 resource for each action you perform this round. I think this is just like a build around B.
I think it deserves to be near the bottom of B though. It's like a pretty.
I would agree with
payoff.
that.
Sure.
Yeah, unless you have, unless you got a lot going on, this card is more or less just bad emergency cash.
Cool.
Yeah.
I do like the dichotomy between, like, the faded cards and the bold cards. Where like
Yes.
the bold cards you can only play at the beginning of your turn, and the faded cards end your turn.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's cool.
Yeah.
That being said, it's not a good thing.
All right. Speaking of faded cards, we got Coup De Gras. I have a soft
Cards
spot
like
for
B.
B.
Yeah.
Maybe top C.
Yeah, that's exactly where I feel like it should be too.
Tesla's
does
damage
replace
sometimes
itself.
draws you a card.
Yeah, it's like fine.
Yeah. Commits for 2 punch.
I think it's better than Payday because damage is
Agree.
better than.
Agree.
Yeah.
Although when Payday's popping off,
Oh yeah, it pops off.
man, yeah, when you can make that card work, it's so good. But
Yeah.
you have to do a lot of setup to make that happen.
Money talks.
I think this can sit right beside Payday for me.
Yeah, no, like I actually just played this card a lot recently. And it's like, with a few notable exceptions, it's like pretty dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when it's good,
I was like,
it's
oh wow, I could have
good.
5 instead of 4.
Yeah.
But then you were like, I have 25.
Yeah, like I said, except with a couple notable exceptions. But then, like, why do you need 25?
Yeah, no, exactly,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's for the archetype, and honestly, just things like well connected are better for the archetype, right?
Maybe there's like some kind of garbage boss hunter deck you could build with like the sawed-off shotgun in this.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Yeah, like hold still. Why? I'll pay you.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll just say I like this visual of the hand going.
Yeah.
"Urgh." Just that works for me. My brain's happy with that. Intel report.
This card's like I think this card's like an A+. This card's sweet.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
for it.
clues, you don't have to be there.
You know what?
You don't have to make
While we're
that.
here, let's grab all of them as well. Go the same.
I think the other two belong in like A.
I want to.
I know you don't like small favor, Justin.
I don't like small favor.
It's still a good card though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just 9. It's just gonna like you're evading someone so it doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity because I just think like paying 4 to have to also like evade an enemy like Tesla's damage is nice, right? But like I think I'd always just play Coup De Gras over it.
Yeah. That's not the part of small favor that's good though. The part of small favor that's good is the fact that you can do damage to an enemy that is not at your location.
Yeah, I still think that
That's
it's
like
like
the strong part of small favor.
yeah, like the paying 4 to deal 1, but paying 6 to deal 2, like I just think that's a lot.
It does a lot of work against the default Acolyte set,
That's very true. Yeah, that's very true.
where you can just one spawns in a shitty spot and you need to deal with it right away, but also you could just pay money to have somebody else kill him.
Like a trade-off a lot of the time is like you're paying money instead of spending the actions, but also you don't actually have to make the test.
Yeah. I think for me personally it's a B tier, but I'm not too emotionally invested.
I do
You're
get,
telling me it's seriously as good as like sneak attack and backstab?
Sorry?
You're telling me it's seriously as good as like sneak attack, backstab, and daring maneuver?
I think it's worse than those.
That's
I do.
A bold,
I
bold
just
opinion.
I've never seen you guys play it either, right? Like I just think it's like not great.
Well, that's probably why you haven't, or it's probably because you haven't seen us play it.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Seeing
I
us
do, I
play
do.
cards usually makes your opinion of cards go up, Justin.
Well, yeah, no, but the thing is, like, that's the thing is, like, but you guys put the good cards in your decks, right? Like, that's how it works, right? I don't see you guys running this stuff, right? Because the cards aren't great. And likewise, I just think I've played Small Favor a bunch. I just don't think it's good.
I do get where you're coming from. The fact that it doesn't ignore attacks of opportunity kind of sucks.
Feels like a little bit weird.
Yeah, it is a little weird.
It feels like they just ran out of space in the card and they were like, yeah whatever.
Yeah.
We want them all to be formatted the same.
Yeah.
I suppose the fact that it can't deal damage to elite enemies is also not amazing. But if you're paying, 4 money to deal 2 damage to an enemy, why didn't you just play Sneak Attack?
Yeah, this isn't a card that you play to like fight things. It's a card you pay to like. You play for convenience.
Yeah, like that is the good part of most of like actually the 3 of these pretty much. Although Intel Report paying 4 for 2 clues without a test is like kind of good because clues are good.
Intel Report, like I would just play in like a lot of green decks just
ditto.
because.
Ditto.
Yeah, the other 2, like the fact that you can do it at a location that isn't yours, that gives you like a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, like looking at these A tier things we have here, I think that Decoy deserves to be like above I'm out of here at least.
I agree. I agree with that.
If not above the Swift Reload. Like Small Favor definitely deserves to be at the bottom of this list. To be honest, the upgrade Slip Away probably deserves to be higher than Ace of the Hole too, just because it's still Slip Away.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah. It's still just Slip Away you can buy experience, and then maybe it goes back to your hand. Bryn, I'll let you.
Yeah, like it's almost worth as much actions as Ace in the Hole is.
It's very true. Bryn, I'll let you be the deciding vote on Small Favor.
I think right about where it is pretty fine. Like, it's either a very, very good B tier card or like a pretty bad A tier card.
Sure.
And we got a lot more cards in the B tier right now, so.
Yeah, A tier needs some love. All right, we got Swift Reflexes.
Go around if you want.
Smooth card is sick.
This one where just steal an action during their turn. Just be like, sorry, it's my turn.
Yeah, you
I actually think this card's like not that great.
I also
all right.
agree.
I think this card is really good.
Even when you're playing like Skids, it's tough to justify spending 2 money on an action during your turn when you could spend your money on other things. This one also demands that you spend a card. Don't get me wrong, it's not like bad, but it's like
yeah, it's just not too exciting.
It probably like lives around the top of B, bottom of A.
Yeah, but I do think this card is pretty solid. Unlike the aforementioned effects, you can use it anytime, right? So like, one of your teammates is doing something and something doesn't go right, and it turns out they need help with their thing in order to finish their turn in a profitable fashion. It's good. They'll engage the enemy or shoot the thing or do whatever, right?
I don't think it's like a bad card. Obviously, I'm not saying like it should belongs in the C tier or the D tier, but
yeah. No, I think this card is pretty good though.
Yeah, it can sit kind of like between these guys. We'll see how everything else shapes out too.
Like for the Switch, I just have a hard time justifying like you spend your 2 money in your card for an action, which like at the absolute okay, so you could spend it to gain a resource. What are you doing? You can spend to draw a card. Also, what are you doing? I guess like spending to draw a card, like you could just be like if you have a theoretically infinite money, and like you have to pass a test, you could use it to like fish for a sure gamble or whatever cards in your deck that you absolutely need, right? But so like you have to have something that's like relevant to the situation, but also that like you can do good.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I agree. It's just, I think it's like even like in like its best case scenario, use it to like shoot an enemy that you had to run to and like you save your seeker's life. Like, yeah, that's a great situation, right? But how often is that the case, and how often is it just like, I'm gonna play this just to do something during your turn, Travis, because I like to see you go ugh, right?
Justin, you can use this card.
I want to do my turn.
You can use this card to cheat the goose.
You could use this card to cheat the group. That is true. Oh, I have to draw so many cards, and I can't because this damn goose is honking in my ear. Yeah, I think we'll just leave it. I think B's.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. You owe me one. You owe me this.
Yeah.
You can't cheat the goose with it because you take the action as if it were your turn.
But it isn't your turn.
But it says as if it's your turn.
The goose cares. The goose is like...
The gooses think it's your turn, Brent.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let him put 10 curse tokens in the bag.
Yeah,
you owe me this one. I don't think is great. We played it a lot. We played it and it was funny, but it never actually did anything.
No.
Yeah.
I think on your feet's better than cheap shot too, because
I think on your feet is better than you owe me one.
All right.
I think you owe me one can live in the D tier.
Oh,
yeah,
damn.
you owe me one's pretty. Is like strictly the card.
Yeah, like at what point are you playing this in order to play something out of one of your teammates' hands that is a card that you also want to have in play?
It's true.
Like at what point does that become profitable?
Yeah. All right, follow. I don't know what this card does, so it's probably not a good sign. Investigate. Choose an enemy or location. You get +1 book for this investigation for each damage on the chosen enemy to a maximum of +5 book. If you succeed, discover one additional clue at your location. This action does not provoke attacks of opportunity.
Into the trash.
Yeah, I think it's kind of just like Eavesdrop and Follow are like best friends. The art is even like the exact same thing.
Right.
They should have just had the same woman just to show.
Are we sure that's not the same woman?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Just like, from different angles, wearing
maybe
different coats.
Maybe it's when she was younger and when she's older. Just time. All right. Breaking and entering. Bryn, you like this card.
Oh, this card is fucking sick.
So I just gotta remind myself. Investigate. Add your foot to the skill value. If you succeed by 2 or more, you may automatically evade an enemy location. Yeah, it seems sick.
Yeah, you get to take an evade action, but also that evade action gives you a clue, and you get to evade. So this is like most
Card lives up by slip away.
Yeah, like I think this card is actually better than slip away. Like gaining 1 clue is stronger than doing 1 damage, I think.
I disagree. Slip away doesn't do damage. It makes it so it doesn't ready.
Yeah, but it does do 1 damage, doesn't it? No, it doesn't.
No.
This is just an evade. Yeah. No, you're right. I still think getting a clue is more valuable than that.
Like, they're very similar. They both, like, buy you an action in the future.
Yeah. I think, honestly...
It's just, like, what the action does. We can put it above the slip away, but, like, they're basically the same card.
I think it really just depends on who your investigator is in that moment for which one you prefer.
Yeah, if you're Trish Scarborough, then this card gets to live above the rest of the S tier cards.
Yeah. So, like... Yeah, they're constantly in a state of flipping between their neighbor. Under surveillance. So this is the one where after you attach to your location, after an non-elite enemy enters attached location, discard it and automatically evade that enemy and discover one clue to attached location that enemy does not ready during the upkeep phase.
It's actually pretty okay.
How did we judge ambush?
Ooh.
This is so much better than ambush, man.
I agree with Travis.
Only marginally better than ambush, I think.
What's ambush even again? Is it an event or an asset?
I think it's an event.
In what color?
Blue.
Blue.
Blue. All right. What is the art? We put it at bottom of C tier.
Yeah, I mean, so automatically evading the enemy means that it doesn't matter how big it is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got that going for it. And clues are better than damage for the most part.
Does this card, when it says enters play, does spawning there count as entering play?
Yeah, I'd wager it does.
Okay, yeah, I think this is fine then, because you can, like, you play it in, like, a clue getting deck, and you put it on a location, you sit there and you get the clues, and then when a monster shows up, you don't have to care about it, and then you keep getting, you get another clue, and you just leave.
Yeah, I think it's a B. Like, I think it's like, I don't think it's in an A tier, but I'm with Travis. Like, even like I had this in my Gloria deck, and like setting it up is just like pretty juicy.
Yeah, oh no, it's not like, not knocking the doors down or anything. It's
Yeah,
just,
but it does its job.
yeah.
It's a lot better if like, yeah, like you if you have a way to control it, it's great. Or like, especially like even like Hunter, right? But even just like as a clue getter, Travis says you just put it down. You're like, I'm hunkering down here until the finale of the thing, right? Like, I just need to be here to get clues. Like, that's not bad too. Or just even putting it down when a hunter enemy's knocking on the door. It does the job. I think it's probably better than Narrow Escape for the idea that Travis said, like, these just fit in with other things so much nicer. Oh, no, sorry, that's Daring Maneuver. Which one's this one again? Yeah, I think it's even better than Narrow Escape. Sorry, worse than Narrow Escape. Reestrad. This is the one where you add curse tokens, and for each curse token, you get +1 fist and deal +1 damage.
So firstly, this card's name translates as Warp Spasm, which is like kind of metal as shit.
Did you say Corpse Spasm?
Warp Spasm.
Oh, that's even cooler.
But also, have you ever wanted to pay 0 to deal 4 damage to an enemy?
Yeah, I think that sounds fun.
Like, that's what this card does. Sure, you gotta put curse tokens in the bag, but you're playing green, you don't have to care about those.
Yeah.
Your teammates
like,
might.
depends what green cards you're playing.
Yeah, I think this card's real good. Like four damage, and you don't have to pay resources for it. And you probably if you're doing 4 damage, you get +3 to the fight. Or alternatively, dealing 3. Like it does scale.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to put 4 tokens in if you're...
3 tokens in.
You put 3 tokens in.
Yeah.
For 4 damage. Because it's just fight, and then you add tokens to get +1 punch and +1 damage.
Yeah, so you've got like about a 20% chance to draw one of your curse tokens.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit less. A 15 to 20% depending on how many chits are in your bag.
Those are pretty good odds.
They're pretty okay odds. No, that's fair to stick this in A. It's
like,
definitely better than Small Favor. It's definitely better than Ace Novel. It's probably up by like, I don't know. What's our A plus look like? It could probably sit there at the top of A plus, I guess.
A plus?
Yeah. Like, there aren't a ton of reasons not to play this, I don't think.
I think I like you handle this one more than Reestrad still.
I mostly, my favorite thing about you handle this one is the flavor of like you draw a thing and it's awful and you're like, oh man, instead of dealing with this, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarillo, and
Yep.
you got it.
Oh, sorry, not the top of A plus. Like, this is probably worse than like. In most cases, it's probably worse than the sneak attack. You still have to make a test.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do still have to pass the test, but being able to just one shot a 4 health enemy, is like it's.
You know, that's why it's up here in the A plus tier.
Cool. Upgrade a thing on your feet. So this one, when an enemy enters your location, immediately move to a connecting location.
This is better than the other one for 2 reasons. 1, you can use it to just dodge a hunter enemy.
Yep.
And 2, it doesn't cost you money to play.
Yep. It costs 2 experience though. So I still feel like it's B tier.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's incredible or anything, but
Let's just put it like above Under Surveillance. Actually, probably even below Under Surveillance. They both cost experience. This one costs 1 and 3, so probably just above Under Surveillance.
fair enough.
Yeah. Pilfers. This one costs 4 investigate. It uses foot instead of book. If you succeed, discover 2 additional clues, and we also have the upgraded one. Let's throw them in the pile.
So I think these cards are both very good.
Okay.
3 clues is a lot of clues.
It is a lot of clues.
and you
I
get to
think the
investigate
upgrade
with one of your
one
stats that doesn't suck.
is like significantly worse than the regular one.
This is not
But
unfair.
I do agree that the level 01 is quite good.
Yeah, like the upgraded one suffers from how many times do you need to do this in a scenario, and also how
Also,
many
how many
times can
times
you
can you-
just pay for?
Yeah,
Yeah,
four's a
how many
lot.
times can you afford it?
Yeah,
So 4 is a lot of money.
it is a lot of money. But the one shot effect of just gain 3 clues, that's often enough to steal a march on the game
Yeah.
and put your team ahead, like almost a turn's worth of whatever the Kluber was
Whatever
doing.
you're trying to do.
Yeah, whatever it is that you're trying to do right now. It's about a turn's worth of it.
Where are we feeling them?
I do think bottom of A is fair for Pilfer, maybe top of B, and then the level 3 one I think can sit at the top of C. That is my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah,
Alright.
like the level 3
4
one
is
is
a
sweet.
lot of money.
It's sweet when you build around it, but like
Yeah,
the
I
other
mean
one's
that's
just kind of
that's asking like 3 experience, then
it's a
4, and
lot.
then you have to succeed by 2, and then you have to pay 4 again. Like just have these, and then just play both of them, and then you're like, I've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah, like you probably don't even need to play a second one throughout the course of the game unless you are the primary Kluver, in which case, why is this your plan?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, okay, fine, fair, but like, you could have done better.
Yeah. All right. The sneak buys. This is the evade, and you gain resources.
Card's sweet.
It's fine.
I'm also leaning more on the fine.
Okay.
This card's like never gives you the resources when you want them.
Yeah, that is the nice thing about especially burning the midnight oil, right?
Yeah, like you can clean them out. It's pretty meh.
Yeah, I agree. Where do we put clean them out? I'm curious.
I do think this is like better than clean them out, but
We put clean them out at high B.
that makes me feel kind of stupid.
So,
I guess part of that is because blue has a harder time getting resources than green does too.
Yeah.
yeah, part of what this one does have going for it though is that as an evade action, firstly, you're probably just going to pass it without too much effort, and secondly, you can often take it for free, or like it's part of what you want it to be doing already.
Mm-hmm. Where do you think
So
it
does
should
come
be,
back
Bryn?
along with it. I don't think it's quite as good as any of the cards in the A tier.
Yeah, it's kind of like where I'm feeling. Like I feel like it belongs like around like these friends. Like I think it's better than Backstab.
Yeah, like it does. Most of what this one does is like provide the grease that makes your deck work.
Yeah.
Or like maybe you're trying to play with 25 automatics and you need money to play things, but
Yeah,
also you need to be evading stuff.
And
Or you're playing
realistically as
Finette.
well, like these also could be like a good if you're like I'm gonna be getting easy marks and like I'm gonna be evading. Like this could be something you have at the beginning and then they become the easy marks later, right?
Yeah, it depends. It depends how important the evade action is to your deck.
Mm-hmm. I think it's better than Swift Reflexes. Because
Yeah,
I
that's
also
fair.
think it's better than Swift Reflexes.
it does something.
Are you telling me that you would pay for an extra action that you didn't do anything with?
No, you just game the system. You do Swift Reflexes and then play Sneak By and then profit? Question mark?
You play. You're playing Finn. You play Sneak By as your free action, then you use Swift Reflexes to turn into any action.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm not too invested in Sneak By. I'm happy
Yep.
it's here.
That's fine.
All right, what does the upgraded Cheap Shot do? This was the one where it's...
It returns to
Back
your
to your
hand if
hand.
you succeed by 3 or more, and you have to succeed by 1 or more instead of 2 or more to get the extra effect.
Oh. Still doesn't seem too great.
Yeah. I I think this one is like notably better than the level 0 one because if you are fighting with it, you are probably going to want to play it more than once.
Yeah.
Unlike the upgraded pilfer, where like sure you could put it back into your hand, but good luck paying for it again.
Here's
To me, this card is like it fills a similar niche to like what Stunning Blow sort of does for the survivors, where if you're not playing like it's good in like fire decks that are looking to chip down bigger enemies, but also like the flex investigators, where you can just like play this in your skids or your fin or your winnie deck or whatever. You pop an enemy for damage to get over that ass flop hump, and then it's also just not a problem until you're for the turns. That way your guardian can step forward or whatever, right? It's not a great card by any stretch, but it's got some decent.
Do you think it kind of lives with like the sneak attack backstab area?
Yeah.
It's kind of where I feel it.
Succeeding by one is like very.
Yeah, you get to add two of your numbers together, and if you don't succeed by one or more, like this has gone very poorly, or one of the numbers was 1.
Yeah.
if one of your numbers is 1, why are you playing this card?
Yeah.
Just play cards that leverage the other number.
And then upgraded backstab.
This suffers from like basically all the same problems that Pilfer does.
So,
with some notable key exceptions here. Damage is when damage is important, damage is much more important than gaining clues.
Yes.
3 damage is something that you're much more likely to want several times throughout the course of a game. As opposed to the plus 3 clues, which is sort of like you got to find a location with 3 clues on it, and it's got to be one that the cluever can't just do the job better and stuff like that. The upgraded backstab lets you just gorp 3 health enemies.
Yep.
And this you can make similar arguments for this, where you gotta find an enemy that's worth dealing 3 damage to, and then it's also gotta be an enemy that your monster hunter can't just do better.
Right. That's like all 3 health enemies pretty much, unless they have a really good weapon. In which case that weapon has limited use.
It's a better upgrade than the Pilfer is for sure, but it's still not a upgrade.
I think it is stronger than the level 0 backstab by like quite a margin. I would put this one in like the bottom of A tier. I think like there
suppose this also isn't a bad card to like use, and then once you get the pass, you just hold on to it, and it's just there if you need it. Whereas Pilfer, like picking it back up, if you don't need it, you don't need it. But this one, like you might need it.
Yeah, and honestly, I agree with that too, because like when an enemy shows up that needs to get killed, you can be like, don't worry, I got this sick ass backstab from earlier, right? But like with Pilfer, you're like, I need to use this because without this, the game doesn't progress, right?
Yep. Yeah. Also, like, median health of enemies throughout the midsection of a campaign is likely in the range of like 3 and change. I'm not going to do math because I do not have the data required, and also I would not do math on live TV or even on recorded TV.
Yeah, I don't have the time. I don't have a calculator. Yeah. Like I'm just not going to do it.
I don't care. But I'm pretty sure that it sits somewhere in the range of 3-ish. It also helps you when you are fighting enemies with 5, because you can just chonk one of them for 3, because foot is an easy test for a rogue to make, and then leave it for your guardian to deal with, or kill it with a weapon of your own.
Yeah.
Like 3 damage
resources is a lot less than 8. Actually,
yeah,
like 6 resources, but like actually, like 6 resources is it's a level 2 hot streak, and then your resource for the turn, or a Faustian Bargain and your resource for the turn. Whereas like trying to come up with 8 is like much more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, this one feels a lot like the old elephant gun out of Eldritch or Arkham Second, where you got to fight, and you got to fight with a really big score, but you didn't get to use it again until you pumped a bunch of money into it. This is not so different to that, where you get to fight and you get +2 damage, which is big. That's what any of the really big guns would give you.
Yeah.
but also you can't use it again until you pay 3 more money into it.
Yeah, no, Brendan, you got me.
Like, it's a little bit tough that you use foot for it and you don't get to add another stat into it because
Yeah, I agree that is definitely a hard part, especially because, like, if you don't... I mean, you're
Generally-
probably going to have buffs, right, because you're rogue. But, like, yeah, the card doesn't give you anything else to work with, which is a little bit...
No, if you're a monster fighter, generally you want to have more than 5 punch, right? You're looking for like 6 or 7 for most combat.
Yeah.
Not most, but like most chunky enemies, you want to be at like 6 or 7. And adding combat boosters to your monster fighter deck is generally higher value than adding like foot symbols to your evade man deck. Like,
I love Evade Man. He's my favorite.
Yeah. Part of this is that like many rogue cards discard for foot symbols as well, so you can use that to help you punch your number higher. But
Yeah,
you are
that's fair.
correct. You are probably testing at 5, maybe 6, and you do want it to be you want to be 2 higher than you would if you were just shooting a gun.
All right. I think we're done.
is that it?
That's
Thank
it.
God.
We are free from the rogue events, so I'll just scroll through the list. Man, S tier is always so easy. It's just so nice to just be like, these MFers got to go up here. God, I love...
Yeah.
Scrolling through to A+, and then A. Down to B for everybody at home. And then we got the drags. I love how these would be
I'll be
the
honest,
exact
I
same mark.
expected more season Ds.
Yeah,
I mean,
I just think rogue cards are like not.
I'm glad you agree with me, Justin. I think green cards suck too.
I just don't think they're like that bad as much as they like. They just do things in their own weird way, right? And we also are, in all fairness, also comparing these to rogue cards, right?
Yeah, no, like, I mean, that's a big part of why we like the colors we like too, is sort of that leftover bias from the early days of playing the game,
Yeah.
where Bryn liked and enjoyed trying to make green's garbage cards work, and I just like playing good cards.
Yeah.
So I naturally shied away from them, and he lent into them. And while green has gotten like just like a lot of the cards are just good.
it's gotten better.
Yeah,
You don't have to work to make some of them good anymore, because some of them
but it's
just
still
are
that,
good.
there's that like ingrained bias where I'm like green cards.
Yeah, no, I mean,
And
actually, it would be
Bryn's like,
interesting
green
if,
cards are weird.
if we all started now with just the collection, would we still love the colors we would? I would say yes, because it also carries over to Lord of the Rings too when we played with the full collection. We all have our styles, but like maybe
I
that
honestly
bias
wouldn't be
of just being
surprised
even
if-
like green cards is, still there. Because
I would be surprised if I was more invested in green and Bryn was more invested in red, because I tend to trend towards like the more impulsive and gambling nature of things in a lot of games, and like the high risk, high reward sort of stuff. Whereas Bryn is like, he likes to get in there and get dirty and barely scrape through.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, Bryn, you do kind of play like a survivor wearing a rogue mask. It makes sense why you like Perseverance so much.
The card is so good.
Yeah.
The card is so good, man. And it fits for 2 brains.
Yeah, it's good.
There's so many brains.
That's usually how I end up playing it, just as a guts.
Yeah, I mean, like, ideally you don't want to be playing it because you're like, oh shit, I'm dying this turn, but also I might be dying next turn.
Yeah.
Ideally it doesn't do that. But when it does do that, man.
Yeah. Sick. All right, everyone watching at home, do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know in the comments. We do read them, and these videos are fun to make, and they're fun to hear everyone's opinions because everyone has different ones. That's the most exciting part about ARKHAM Horror the card game, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is the official list. So, that's how... Oh, by the way, I said to say, this is all for multiplayer. Not for solo.
Yeah.
We play multiplayer on this channel if this is your first time here. And if this is your first time here, you're probably not still watching this video. So I don't regret nothing. See you guys in the next one. Bye!